Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tiffany and in today's video we're going to be freshening up my shelves for spring. So Easter has come and gone. I almost said Christmas, probably because it snowed yesterday like crazy. So that's definitely what I had in my mind. But Easter has come and gone, so I am looking to remove some of the bunnies and those types of things and now just focus on clean, maybe garden theme, lots of greenery, some flowers, that kind of thing. And since I was going to be just cleaning up my shelves, I figured I should bring you along with me and show you how just a few minor tweaks can just bring some life to your shelves. And you guys know that I am a maximalist. I love to cram in as much decor as I can into one little nook and cranny. And I gotta tell you, shelves are my absolute favorite when it comes to decorating. Shelves are number one and any kind of hanging rack is number two. So a peg rail or that new shepherd's hook that I put out, or those new hooks that I put out on my front porch. I love to decorate any kind of hanging item or shelf because I just feel like it's a great way to pack in a bunch of decor and make it feel really, really cozy. So we are definitely like in the throes of spring. All of our plants outside are coming out of their long winter sleep. They're getting new leaves, new buds. We're gonna be out there all weekend long working on the garden and making plans for new additions this summer and spring. So I figured let's just kind of spruce up the inside as well. So I hope that you are here for that. Before we get into the decorating, I want to take a second to thank today's video sponsor, Scentbird. If you have never heard of Scentbird before, I am here to help you learn all about this super cool company. I have been a member of Scentbird now for about 4 months and I am loving it. Scentbird is a subscription to perfumes and colognes, scents, and it's a great way for you to try out really expensive designer scents before you commit to something. And if you're like me, I have a ridiculous amount of perfumes. I love scent. I love scent in my home. I love scent on my body. And so having something like this, a subscription, allows for me to get a new fragrance every single month, and I love that. If you are just getting into the world of fragrances, Scentbird is perfect for you. This allows for you to read reviews and see what other people think and try out new scents. If you've always been a person that wears musky vanilla scents, I am one of those people, then trying out something totally outside of your comfort zone is fun and easy when you have something like Scentbird. Scentbird lets you try out a new fragrance every single month. It's $17 a month and you get a 30-day supply. So you get to try your fragrance and make sure you like it. Make sure you like it at all different times of the month in all different types of settings. If you know what I'm talking about, I have a daytime perfume and an evening perfume. I have a date night perfume versus going to the soccer games perfume. It's totally different and this is a fun way to be able to express myself that way. And I get to try out different perfumes without spending up to $150, $300, even $500 for some designer perfumes. And Scentbird carries all kinds of designer products like Gucci and Prada. Right now, my favorite is a Versace, and you can try out all different kinds of expensive brands, like I said, for only $17 a month. When you get your Scentbird package in the mail, it will come in this cute little pouch like this, and inside you'll have your fragrance that comes in this sweet little carrying case. It's so smooth. It's like this really pretty matte. They have all different colors. And inside is your 30-day supply of your fragrance that you can change out when you get a new one for the month. This is my current favorite, Versace Bright Crystal Absolute, I think it says. The Versace Bright Crystal itself is divine. These are so clean and such a delicious scent. On the Scentbird app, it describes Bright Crystal Absolute as featuring vivid top notes of frosted yuzu and pomegranate that icily reflect the dark, juicy raspberry and peony notes in the heart, brightly mirror the bold pomegranate, and fade into a warm, polished base of rich mahogany and taut musk. It is so very delightful. It is my absolute favorite scent. For this fun collaboration, Scentbird was kind enough to send me 2 other scents as well, and I got to see some of their really fun other colors, these 2 super bright fun ones for spring and summer, and I ended up putting a summer scent in both of these. I chose Brown Girl Jane in the scent Dawn. This one is super delicious, has a really strong vanilla base, and I love it. As I mentioned, the fun thing about these cases is that you can reuse the same one over and over by simply opening it up and replacing the inside, or you can get a new one every single time. That's completely up to you, and you would simply twist one direction and that keeps it locked and in place, and twist the other way and push down on the top and that will spray it. It's so very simple. They're easy to close and toss in your purse, and I cannot say enough good things about it. I have loved being a part of Scentbird and was so very excited to share it with you when they reached out about collaborating. You can try out Scentbird for yourself by using my code Farmhouse to get 55% off your first order. That makes your first month just a little over $8, and for that amount of designer perfume, I definitely think that that is worth it. Remember, I've already used this for about 5 days, and I am a generous sprayer, you guys, so you get a really good amount of perfume. I cannot say enough good things. So thank you so much, Scentbird, for sponsoring today's video. Now that I'm smelling fresh and ready for spring, let's go ahead and freshen up my shelves for spring as well. So as I've mentioned, I have a lot of different shelves throughout my home that I get to decorate, and I'm so very blessed for that. But my absolute favorite is my hutch cabinets here in my kitchen. These are my favorite shelves to decorate, and I feel like they make the biggest impact. You see them from most angles down here in our great room, and I absolutely love them. I've been asked before why we didn't just do open floating shelves, and that is a gorgeous look as well. But I wanted just a nice cohesive kitchen in here, and I feel like this has really given us that. Having the glass on the doors allows for us to see what's inside, but keeps everything contained, and I love that. So what we're gonna do today is just take everything down, and I'm gonna talk you through this and just kind of share how I love to style shelves and how I get that full collected look and go for that farmhouse cottage vibe. So let's clear these shelves off, and then we're gonna get to decorating. So now that the shelves are cleared off, I went ahead and wiped them down. I just used all-purpose cleaner, and I took advantage of them being completely clear since I don't do that very often. Okay, so now that the now that the cabinets are clear, this is a look at everything I took down plus some. I did grab some decor I've used in the past to kind of look through and see what we want to use. But as you can see, I really do stick in the neutral family. I try to find items that look old, whether they're actual antiques or things I find at a thrift store or things that just have some character. So for example, a recent find for me is this incredible scale that I picked up on Facebook Marketplace. It is an antique scale. I picked this up for $20, you guys. I think it's stunning. I love all the rust on it, and the top just looks so beat up and beautiful. I know that that probably sounds absolutely crazy, but it's true. I love that about it. And it's very clearly old and looks old. However, I do also have these beautiful berry bowls that are not old. I did just recently buy these, and I think they look stunning. They still have that same kind of color wheel, as well as this really pretty galvanized, it looks like a cheese grater, but it doesn't have any actual blades on it because It's actually from Hobby Lobby, and it's big enough that you could actually put plants inside, which I think is really cute. But I love that it has that old look. And this picture here is from Michael's last season. I actually think it might have been around Thanksgiving, and it's got all of this really great detail to it, even though it's not old or handmade. I'm sure it's made, you know, in a factory somewhere, but it just has a lot of character, and I think it's really pretty. So that's how I decide what I'm gonna be decorating with. I try to keep it all in the same wheelhouse, and we'll kind of go through each piece that we put back up into the shelves, and I'll tell you where it's found and what I look for when I'm shopping for shelf decor. So we're gonna start up here on the top shelf, and for the first part, my biggest thing that I try to do is to create as much height as I possibly can. I can move these shelves. Originally, when I first moved in, there were 4. They were divided into 4, but we did move them to 3 so that it gave me a little bit more height when I'm decorating. So I'm actually going to bring in this vintage pot that I recently picked up antique shopping, I think back in February. I've shown this to you guys a lot. It's been on my table since I bought it, but I decided to change it up for a little bit. So we're gonna bring this in up here on the top, and I love the blue stripe. I think that's perfect as we move into spring and summer. And we're gonna add in just a little bit of greenery. Now, for my shelves, I try to keep the greenery very simple, and I try not to bring in a lot of different color so that everything kind of just blends together. So I'm just gonna be using a little bit of my seeded eucalyptus. This is from Amazon, and you see me use this all the time. I actually get knocked on my channel about how much eucalyptus I use, but that's okay. You can come for me because I love eucalyptus and nothing's gonna change that. So this is probably my current favorite. I like how it's kind of weepy and that it spills out of the jar. So that is what I'm gonna be using. And I'm only gonna use 2 of the stems because we don't want a lot, just enough to give us some green in every space, because I love green and I think it makes my home feel really alive. Now in these shelves, I do use a mixture of both real and faux plants because it does get enough light in here that I can grow low light plants like pothos plants, which is what I have in here. So now that we have the jar, we're gonna go ahead and put something here. Now this is enough space where we can add just 1 or 2 things and it will feel very full, which is what I really love. So because this color is more in like the neutral family and you know, it is like pottery, it is clay, or stoneware, I don't want to use anything else in that same family. So I don't want to use the berry bowls or anything like that. So I'm thinking either a wood element or a galvanized element. So one of the things I recently picked up while antique shopping is this cute little wooden cow figurine, which some might feel is too farmhousey. For me, it's just the right amount of farmhouse. So I think that he would look really sweet layered in front of this jar, and he can go either way, which is great. So I think we're going to put him this way to start, and we're going to close this all the time so we can see what that picture looks like while we're still up here and while we can make adjustments. I make a lot of adjustments. It's another thing that I've seen comments about is how much I touch everything and move things, but that's kind of, you know, the fun part about it is you're going to want to move it around until you get it just right. And I think we're going to leave that for now. We can always come back and change it if we want to, but I think that that's enough for right there. Now we're going to work on this other side, and we're going to want to counter kind of what we have going on up here. I did have the recipe book up here before, and I do really love that. So this is a little faux recipe book that I picked up at antiquefarmhouse.com. And it looks like, you know, a real book, and I love that it's like cloth on the outside, but it is a box. It's a recipe box, which I think is really, really cute. And I've had it up here on its side so you can see the words family recipes. And I currently have a pothos plant on it that I'm gonna water real quickly. And I think that since it's still spring, we're gonna go ahead and pop it into this little galvanized watering can from Hobby Lobby. And we're just gonna pop that right up here and leave those kind of trailing. And then we're gonna bring in the berry bowls again. Now, one great way to use things like this in your decor is to use 2 of them and have one tilted like this. It gives you height, it gives you interest, there's more to look at. So that's what we're gonna do up here. And I'm gonna just layer them. Again, I like a very full look. There we go. I feel like this plant needs to come the other direction, but I also don't want to block the berry bowls, but I feel like you can't really see much of that plant. Okay, I switched that one out for another one that looks the same. So we can just maneuver this like such. Maybe we just flip it around, but I don't want the green fighting with each other. So the green from this plant and the green from the eucalyptus. There we go. Okay, so there's our first top shelf. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and work on the second shelf. I'm gonna start by anchoring the space with this little cutting board. This is from TJ Maxx, I believe, and it came in a pack of 2. And I do this on this shelf because this is the one that you can see kind of the most. And so giving it some wood element, I feel like just kind of warms it up. You could also have this in the back like this, which maybe we'll do. We haven't done that in a while. I don't know, let's see. Maybe we'll leave it like that. But having a wood element, I think just like I said, warms it up. You could also lean it the other way. And you could also bring in cookbooks. That is something I haven't done up here. Maybe we'll do that. Let me grab a couple. I feel like if I'm gonna use a cookbook, which I have the Magnolia table right here, I feel like I need to do it on this side to kind of balance out our little family recipe box. So we're gonna hold off on that one. But the first thing I wanna bring in is my little antique scale. You guys, I couldn't love this scale more. And I want it kind of up front and center like this. So it is pretty big. So I've got to kind of push it to the side over here, but I love it. And now we need something for this little section right here. For Easter, I had this little mustard jar filled with these little wooden carrots, and I think that that would be really pretty right here. I don't think we need to get rid of the carrots because it's still spring, and like I said, I was looking for more garden theme, less bunny theme, and I think that's really pretty, and it gives us that green element that we're looking for. So I think that that is perfect. If this was in an open shelf, we could even put something on top of the scale, but for now, we're just gonna kind of leave it like that. And now we're gonna work on this other side over here. We talked about using the cookbook, and I definitely think that's something we can try. That's something I have not done up here, and I really like that. And I think we need to bring in something metal. So we're gonna go ahead and bring in the galvanized cheese grater. That's what it looks like, or a washboard of some kind. And like I said, it's big enough that you could put some kind of plant or flower inside, which is really pretty. I'm just gonna layer that right on top. And I think to give it a little bit more interest and to bring in a different texture, we're going to layer a cloth napkin. Now, these are the cloth napkins I picked up for Easter from Target. Also from the Hearth and Hand line, so it seems appropriate to have it here. Just kind of layer that in there. Oh, that looks really pretty and very sweet. I love that. Okay. Make sure we're centering things. And then we're gonna put something here. So in my mind, I think we need something with a decent amount of height. I have this little faux evergreen from Target. These were in their dollar section several Christmases ago, but I love this because it's tall, but it's little. So it gives you what you need in regards to the color, but it doesn't take up a ton of space. So we can actually just kind of put that there in the background, and then it leaves this room to put something in front, which I want to bring in one of my favorite kitchen decor items, and that is this little wood rolling pin. This is from Hobby Lobby. It's considered, let's see, table decor, I believe. But you could also hang it if you wanted to. I have had this for a long time from Hobby Lobby, and I still see it there all the time. It's in their kitchen section, and I love it. So I think that that would look really sweet right there in the front. I am loving that. I think it's super fresh for spring, and this shelf is done, and I think it looks beautiful. So I just actually realized that I may not have even been in frame for those other ones, but you'll at least be able to see the shelves. You just may not have been able to see me, but that's okay. We're gonna work on this lower shelf now. Now this one doesn't get as much view time, if you will, because we've got this bottom part of the cabinet here. So I have to remember that a good 2 inches from the bottom for the most part is not going to be seen. So I can't put anything flat like this that I did here on the second shelf, because you're not gonna see that. So everything has to have a little bit of a rise to it, which is not a problem. We've got risers and things that we can do to lift up the decor. So some of the different types of risers that I use are things like this. This is like an actual riser. This is from TJ Maxx. I find this all of the time. It's got some water damage to it from a previous plant that was on it, but you could use this, and you know, it's not, you're not gonna see it. It's not tall enough for you to see it, but it is tall enough to rise everything up a little bit, or raise everything up a little bit so you can see what's in there. Now I have had this bottom section pretty much the same for a really long time, so I'm struggling to get creative here, but I'm just gonna try to use my creative juices and try something different. One of the things that I first purchased when I moved here was this sweet little chair, this little wooden fake chair. I love this thing. I got it at a local farm stand, and it has been front and center in my kitchen ever since, and I think he would be really sweet over here, giving us a little bit of height. And on top of it, I always layer this little copper like creamer pitcher, I don't know, and inside of it I have some charcuterie knives, just to bring in a little bit of that wood element. So I usually just layer that on top of there. I really feel like we need something green over here, so I'm actually gonna try something a little different. I found this little, see, I feel like you can't see the chair like that. Oh, I don't know. I guess I know it's a chair, but I feel like it needs something tall here to bring in greenery, but I don't know what I have that would be small. I'm just looking around my home. Always shop your home first. Let me see what I can find, because I feel like that takes away from the chair, and I like seeing that it's a chair. Okay, so I grabbed my little picture here from the antique store. This is from RRP Co. in Roseville, Ohio. I showed you guys these. I love these little pictures. I think we could use him and be able to see it. Yeah, and I grabbed a couple of stems of the asparagus fern that I used on my front porch. I had a little bit of extra pieces. I also used this for Easter, so I figure we can use this. Perfect. I think that gives us just the right amount of height, and it's just a little bit of greenery, and I like that it's kind of whimsical. I'm just gonna kind of play with it a little bit until I get it just right. Okay, I think that that is perfect. So we just have this one little section left, and for this, again, we're gonna need to bring in height. I want a little bit of greenery, and then we just need, you know, one more thing. So what I'm thinking is, we have a lot of galvanized items everywhere else, a lot of metal. We don't have any metal down here. but I don't know that I have any more metal galvanized items. Oh, I actually might. Hang on. Okay, always shop your house first. So I did recently pick up this little hanging galvanized tin at Hobby Lobby. It was $4.99, but their galvanized items were 50% off, so I paid $2.99, which I think is a steal for this sweet little tin. And we're gonna use this somehow. Let me think this through. So I definitely want some kind of like pottery or stoneware to put over here because we have that in most areas. So I think we need something down here to offset what we have everywhere else. Maybe we'll do this gorgeous picture from Michael's. So one time I had to get creative and kind of MacGyver something to act as a riser. And I had this little box here that coasters go in, and I wasn't gonna be using it for that, so I figured we could flip it over and use it as a little riser. Oh, that does not look right. I don't love it. All right, let's start over. Don't be afraid to try 100 different times. So we do have this little plant stand that I typically have a plant on. I typically have this little pothos on it, which we could still use. But I feel like this might be too big for the area. So we may not be able to use that. Another item I snagged at Hobby Lobby while their galvanized items were 50% off was this little pitcher. It's been living in my coffee bar, but I think this might be exactly what we need for this area. So we're gonna go ahead and use that little fake riser, and we're gonna place this here. I had this little cheese board that I kept on top of here to just give us a little bit more height, but I feel like we need something in there. And I don't necessarily want to use something else green. I feel like we need something like darker wood, but I don't know that I have anything. I'm curious if I use a little it's just not working. This little plant stand is from Target a few years back, I believe. And curious if we do it like that. Just feels kind of empty. Wondering if I switch these. Do it this way. Oh, that might be better. I don't want to cover the picture. I want to be able to see it. I don't love this pot that this plant is in, but it'll do. I also have this antique like masher, but it feels like it's the same wood colors as the other ones. I feel like I need something dark, maybe. Maybe this plant isn't working for me. This little fake one. Oh, I have an idea. So I know I said no bunnies, but I do have these really cute little rain boots that I had purchased at Target for my tiered tray, and I think that that would be really sweet. Oh, that's pretty. That's what we needed. We needed a little black. So I like that. I'm almost curious. I feel like it's just not full enough. So I do have this little stack of the little baby pots. I'm wondering if we just kind of layer these back here. Oh, that's sweet. Oh yeah, I like that. I wish that this stand was just a little bit shorter, but I think it's good to give us height for the shelf, and I think it looks good when it's closed. Okay, my friends, here's a look at the shelves all completed. I could not love them more. I think that they are perfect and they just, I don't know. There is something so cozy and inviting about antique items, items that feel lived in and worn. I just love that feeling, and that's always what I want in my home. And I feel like there's always something interesting to look at when you decorate with items that have a story and, you know, that look lived in. So I love this. Okay, my friends, that was a lot of fun bringing you along with me today as we redecorated my favorite spot in my home. I hope that you found some fun tips or inspiration for ways to decorate in your home. And I love to bring in all these different ways to bring in coziness. My cat is, of course, having a snack while I'm talking. So thank you guys again for joining me today. And thank you, a huge thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring today's video. Make sure you check out those links down below, as well as my coupon Farmhouse for 55% off your first order. I promise you, you are not going to want to miss this. I am going out tonight for girls' night, so I definitely will be wearing my favorite Versace because I am obsessed with that stuff. So thank you again to Scentbird, and if you're not subscribed, I would love to have you subscribe and come back for more. And until the next one, my friends, take care.